Welcome to A Place to Pause. I'm Goanna Garter Shirley, and I'd like to welcome you back. I'm trying to pump these out as fast as I can. So this space where we slow down, we reflect honestly and look at the patterns, beliefs, and habits that shape our lives. Today's episode is about something that often surprises people on the path to personal growth. Awareness is powerful, but awareness alone does not change a life. Today we're talking about the next step in the 5 pieces of life's puzzle, discipline. In the last episode, I talked about the moment I finally recognized a pattern in my own life. The moment I realized I had been reacting the same way for decades, leaving quickly, starting over, moving on before asking deeper questions, was kind of my thing. At that moment of awareness was important. But awareness is only the beginning. Because once you see the pattern, something uncomfortable happens. You can't see it. You start noticing it everywhere. And I mean everywhere. You notice it in conversations. You notice it in your reactions. You notice it in your habits. And suddenly the question becomes, now what? Many people believe that once they understand their behavior, change should happen automatically, like it's a magic wand that just changed everything. But it doesn't. Understanding something intellectually is not the same as changing it behaviorally. And that's where discipline enters the picture. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is actually structure. It is the quiet decision to behave differently, even when your old instincts are alive, active, and firing on every level of your being. For someone who grew up in chaos, discipline can feel very strange at first. Chaos is reactive. Discipline is intentional. Chaos moves quickly. Discipline pauses. Chaos responds emotionally. Discipline responds thoughtfully. That shift, that's not easy. Because your nervous system has been trained for years, sometimes decades, to react automatically. When something feels uncomfortable, your body says, protect yourself, leave, defend, close down. Discipline interrupts that pattern. Discipline says, wait a minute. Take a breath. Just stop and observe what is happening. Maybe ask a better question. Instead of reacting immediately, discipline creates a small space between feeling and action. And in that small space, something powerful happens. Choice. You give yourself a choice. For most of my life, I believed my reactions were justified. That's just who I am, and that's just how I am. If something upset me, my reactions made sense. I justified them. If someone said something that triggered me, my response felt reasonable. But when I began paying closer attention, I realized something important. Feeling something strongly does not automatically mean acting on it immediately is the best decision. Emotions, they're signals, they're information, but they are not instructions. Discipline allows you to listen to the signal without immediately obeying it. And that takes practice. Real practice. Not once or twice, daily, over weeks, months, and years. Sometimes discipline looks very simple. It might mean pausing before responding to a message, or deleting the message altogether and starting again. It might mean sitting with discomfort instead of leaving a conversation. It might mean asking a question instead of making an assumption. These small actions may not look dramatic from the outside, but internally they are enormous shifts. Because each time you interrupt an old pattern, you are literally rewiring your behavior. You are teaching yourself that another response is possible. Can you believe that? Something other than what your first thought was? And slowly, over time, discipline begins to replace reaction. One of the biggest misunderstandings about discipline is that it requires perfection. Side note, there is no perfection. And that perfectly imperfect thing drives me crazy. It doesn't require perfection. It does not. Discipline requires consistency. You will still react sometimes. You will still make mistakes. You will catch yourself repeating old patterns occasionally. But discipline means you notice it faster now. You recover sooner, and you adjust much more quickly. Instead of spending years repeating the same cycle, you might catch it within days, then hours, then minutes. Eventually, sometimes, you catch it before it happens. That, my dear, that's growth. Not perfection. There's no perfection. Progress. There is also another reason discipline matters. Without discipline, awareness can become overwhelming. Once you see your patterns clearly, you might feel tempted to analyze and overanalyze and ruminate in your head on everything, every reaction, every conversation, every memory. But discipline focuses your attention on what you can actually change, your behavior moving forward. You can't rewrite the past, so none of that. Not punishing yourself for earlier choices, none of that. Just choosing differently. One conversation, one moment, and maybe just for today. That is enough. And the truth is, discipline is one of the most respectful things you can offer yourself and anyone in your circle. It means you are no longer living entirely on autopilot. You are participating consciously in your own life. And you are becoming the person who pauses, reflects, and then decides. That is maturity. That is growth. And it is available at any age. You do not have to be young to begin living intentionally. You simply have to be willing to practice. Awareness shows you that pattern. Discipline changes it. And when those two things begin working together, your life slowly begins to move in a different direction. Not overnight, but steadily. Just give yourself a moment on that. Think about it. How does that feel for you? Not in your head, but in your body. So before we finish today, I want to offer you a simple reflection exercise. Think about a situation in your life where you tended to react quickly. Maybe you still do. Maybe it's upon a disagreement or it's a criticism. Maybe sometimes you feel misunderstood. The next time that situation appears, try one small experiment. Pause. Take a breath and ask yourself, what responses would my disciplined self choose right here, right now? You may still react the same way, or you may discover a different response entirely. Either way, that pause is the beginning of change. a magnificent change. It could change your whole life. Every decision you make, every interaction you have. This has been a place to pause. Take a breath. Notice your patterns. And remember that awareness creates the opportunity for discipline. And discipline creates the possibility of real change. I'll meet you here. Until next time, wishing you a beautiful weekend, a calm and relaxing day. I think about you often, and I send you only love. Anna, Shirley.